Hey guys, just Martin here from One Take Fitness and Nutrition with a very quick presentation on hormones and weight loss. Now, I've been asked quite a few times by people, do your hormones affect weight loss? Quite simply, the answer is yes, they do. They can have a big bearing on where and how you store body fat. You see, everyone's body is a complex mix of hormones. And everybody's body is different. Everyone's body is different. Different concentrations of hormones varies from person to person. So not everybody's the same. But for the purpose of weight loss, I like to classify people as three main hormone types. These are estrogen type, a cortisol type, and an insulin type. Now, estrogen, most of you probably know, is the female sex hormone. Men do have some estrogen in the body too, just the same as women have some testosterone, but primarily estrogen is a female sex hormone. Cortisol, you've probably heard of as well. That's a stress hormone, elevated when you get stressed out. And insulin, that's the hormone that's responsible for blood sugar control. So for the purpose of fat loss, for the purpose of weight loss, I like to classify people as one of those three hormone types. So how do I do it? How do we classify you as one of those particular hormone types? Quite simply, just take a look in the mirror. Easiest thing you can do is look in the mirror, because where you store fat can have an indication of what sort of hormone type you are. It does get a little bit more complicated than that, a little bit more scientific. What I like to do with sort of online clients, one-to-one clients and online clients, is do something called a hormonal profiling questionnaire. This is like a bunch of questions that you complete. You put a score on for various questions. I then analyse that and take a look at it, and I can build up a bit of a picture of your body and how the different hormones are working in your body. And as a result of that, we can look at your nutrition, we can look at what to eat, timing of nutrition, we can even look at exercise to help us get over those hormonal imbalances and get weight loss to an absolute maximum. Again, it's a little bit more complicated, a little bit more scientific. I use something called Harpenden skin fold calipers. It's like a medical device. Basically, we'll look at your body, we'll take a bunch of sites in your body, about 10 different places in your body. We'll measure how much fat there is in those locations. Again, helps me to build up a picture, work out the correct sort of nutrition, exercise, supplementation plan for people. But for the purpose of this presentation, let's keep it super simple and let's just take a look in the mirror and see where you store that body fat. Okay, if you've got a lot of fat storage around your thighs and your butt, chances are you're an estrogen type. Most women find that this is their problematic area of fat storage. Butt, thighs. This is because women have an excess of estrogen in the body, and that's commonly causes fat storage around those areas. Guys, for example, men who have a lot of estrogen in their body tend to store their body fat in the boobs area, like the man boobs, the whole man boobs phenomenon. That's as a result of a high estrogen content. But again, this is primarily for women. The main reason is they have a lot of alpha-2 receptors in the lower body, and the high estrogen concentration can cause fat storage, or at least make fat release quite difficult from those areas. Okay, so how do we tackle it? If that's your type, how do we tackle it? Quite simple. Make sure you eat plenty of greens. Things like broccoli, spinach, watercress and kale. They're high in what we call plant indoles, chemicals. One in particular, fantastic chemical, is called indole-free carbonol. Watercress probably contains more indole-free carbonol than all of those others. Broccoli's pretty cool, spinach as well, but watercress is absolutely the best. What these plant indoles do is they go around your body and they mop up that free estrogen. The free estrogen that's causing the fat storage. They mop it up and allow your body to excrete it. So if this is your type, make sure you get plenty of greens in with every meal. And again, plenty of watercress too. What else can you do? Metabolic resistance training and interval training. This is things like lifting some weights, or interval training. This is where you run for a short period of time, then you recover, run for a short period of time and recover. And metabolic resistance training, lifting weights, body weight exercises, that sort of thing. Those are fantastic for estrogen type people. Sleep. Get plenty of sleep. at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. If you're an estrogen type, make sure you get plenty of sleep. Again, fantastic for weight loss. And lastly, whatever you do, avoid steady state aerobic exercise. Things like spinning classes, Zumba, steady state aerobics, going out for a jog, that sort of thing. That's the worst sort of exercise you can do if you're an estrogen type, because that causes a lot of fat storage. I had this one client came to me. She had recently joined the gym. She started doing spinning classes. Now, spinning classes are great, but only if you do them right. She'd been doing, or I should say, only if the instructor does them right. What she was doing was she was going to these spinning classes. She had a pretty poor instructor, and she actually put on weight around her thighs. And she came to me one day. She says, "Martin, what can I do? I've joined the gym. I've started doing these spinning classes, and yeah, I'm losing weight, but my thighs have actually got fatter." So we took a little bit of a look at what she does. Found out it was spinning. Got her off the spinning classes. Got her into doing some body pump classes. Got her into doing some interval training on the treadmill. Within a couple of weeks, those inches had disappeared from her thighs again. So focus on metabolic resistance training, interval training, eat plenty of greens, step away from the steady state aerobic exercise. Okay, what's next? Insulin type. This shows up as fat storage around the love handles or the muffin top if your top starts to spill over the top of your jeans, for example. If blood sugar and insulin levels are stable, your body will use fat as fuel. But if your blood sugar and your insulin levels are not stable, your body will use the carbohydrate for sugar and the fat remains in storage. That's the key. If they're unstable, your body will use the carbs for energy, but the fat will stay in storage. Basically, guys, love handles have a direct correlation to your carbohydrate intake. So again, what can we do about it? What can we do to get rid of the muffin top? Quite simple. Eat plenty of lean protein and fats. Fat has no effect on stable insulin and sugar levels. So make sure you get plenty of lean protein and plenty of good fats into your diet. Coconut oil, again, I talk about coconut oil all the time. Coconut oil is awesome. It's fantastic at stabilising blood sugar levels. So make sure you're cooking with coconut oil every single meal to help stabilise those blood sugar levels. One of the biggest things to avoid if you're insulin type is fruit for breakfast. Having fruit for breakfast immediately spikes your insulin levels, and again we need to stabilise those insulin blood sugar levels. So fruit for breakfast, it is a sugar, yeah, it's a great sugar, but it will make those levels unstable, and again your body won't use as much fat for fuel. It'll concentrate on using the sugar from that fruit. And finally, again, really important, limit your intake of starchy carbohydrates. These are things like brown rice, rice noodles, sweet potatoes, can't remember the word that I'm thinking of, root vegetables such as carrots and parsnips. Limit your intake of those. The best time to have them at all is in an evening. Even post-workout is best at all. But try and avoid your intake of starchy carbohydrates through the day. Limit them again to your evening meal. Finally, the last type we're going to talk about is belly fat, or cortisol type. Now that's actually my photos. I'm a cortisol type. Cortisol only really comes into play properly when you start getting pretty lean, which is why I've kind of put my photos on there. That's actually a 19-day transformation there. Cortisol, as you probably know, elevates when your body's stressed too long, particularly during aerobic exercise. Fat storage around the belly is 4 times more receptive when cortisol levels are high. So if cortisol levels are high, you become stressed out, you're 4 times more likely to store fat around your belly area. Again, it really only comes into play once we get the rest, once you start getting quite lean. We need to focus on the insulin levels, which probably affect most people, so we need to stabilise those first. This only really comes into play when you do start getting quite lean. Again, little pot bellies and things like that. It's fat storage on your abs, again down to cortisol. So again, what can we do about it? Fish oil and magnesium supplements are fantastic at controlling cortisol. Magnesium is great as like a relaxant towards the end of the day. It can help you relax, help stabilise those cortisol levels. Metabolic resistance training and interval training, by far the best way to train. If you're a cortisol type, it's pretty much the only way to train. And absolutely no more than 45 minutes. When I used to train in the gym, I used to go to a spinning class which was 45 minutes long. Then straight after that I used to do a body pump class which was an hour long. Then immediately after that I used to go and do a boxer fit class, again an hour long. That was like nearly 3 hours of exercise, and I used to wonder why I wasn't losing any fat from around my abdomen, around the belly. The reason was cortisol levels had already peaked by the end of the spinning class. So all the exercise I did after that was actually having a detrimental effect on my body. I thought it was having a positive effect, it was actually having a detrimental effect. That's something I came to learn over time. Sleep. Sleep's really important. Cortisol levels naturally rise throughout the day, peaking around about 11 o'clock at night. So get to bed by 10:30. If you're a cortisol type, make sure you're in bed by 10:30. Get the lights out, get 7 to 8 hours quality sleep every night. And finally, I've already mentioned this before, but less is actually more when we come to exercise. Whatever happens, don't over-exercise. 45 minutes maximum you should exercise in one stint. Otherwise, like I say, cortisol levels will increase and it will have a negative effect on getting those results you want. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Any questions, please post them in the Facebook group and I'll be more than happy to answer them. That's Martin from One Take Fitness and Nutrition signing off with another that little short video on how hormones affect your fat loss. Thanks again, guys, and goodbye.